Dead but not dead.
Hey,
Corn on the Macabre, we're back. And I'm excited. I'm fucking excited.
So back.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes, we're so back. Oh, I love the deep dives. But I love the Tubi.
We're going strong.
But yes, we're going strong. All right. We got 1 million subscribers already. Yeah. Hey, positive thinking. Put it out there.
Yes.
It's good. It's going to happen.
Well, we do. It's just you time traveled. That's all.
That's right.
So it's not a lie.
Yeah. So, okay. Today we're going to wrap up the Halloween trilogy with my favorite of the 3 Halloween ends. Yeah.
Your
my favorite.
Favorite?
Yes. I know a lot of people are like shutting their, it's like punching through their fucking computer screens right now. And
immediately. End video.
Okay. Yeah. Like, okay,
remove subscribe.
So yeah, it's I have my reasons, and
yeah,
fair
warning. I think you obviously enjoy it more than I do, but fair warning to the viewers, we're probably going to spend most of this defending the movie as a whole. So
yeah. I listened to what Dave McRae had to say about this, and I agree with him for the most part. Yes, I do. If this were a standalone, like, anthology Halloween type film, perfect movie. It's fucking great. Okay, but it's not. It's a Halloween movie, and I see where all the hate comes from.
The problem is we have a good entry that would fit into a franchise, and then we kind of have the ending tacked on. A lot of people get caught up in the fact that it's not what they wanted, so they hate it.
And here's the thing: what I wanted, Halloween Ends gave me. I wanted something weird and fucking different. And we fucking got it.
But I mean, what are you gonna have Michael chase Laurie around again for another
yes.
2 hours? Like,
when things started coming out about this film before it came out, a lot of people were saying it's like Christine. So I started forming this idea in my head, and then we heard the character of Corey Cunningham and everything, and okay, so, and yeah, it is. It's a lot like Christine, which is one of my favorite, another one of my favorite John Carpenter films. We're going to do a lot.
Yeah.
Talking about John Carpenter.
We're gonna talk a lot about John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And there, it's not if. There's nothing wrong with that, because it's John fucking Carpenter.
Yeah, but we should even go Cigarette Burns. Have you seen that? Yes.
From
Masters of Horror.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do that too.
Yes.
We're gonna do that too. We'll do a deep dive there. Edo Cure.
Yeah.
And
man, I love that guy. You always, it's one of those actors, like, you kind of forget about until you watch a movie with him in it, and then you remember how awesome he is.
Remember Flesh for Frankenstein?
Yes. And then what
Andy Warhol.
What was the name of what's the name of that Dracula movie?
Andy Warhol's Dracula. I can't remember what they actually. Oh my god!
There's just something about that movie and the fact that he could only be rejuvenated, or he could only drink virgin blood. So
yes.
The hero of the movie goes and bangs everybody, so Dracula doesn't have any virgins to drink.
Yeah. And then what was his assistant? Was it Otto?
Yeah,
Otto?
I think so.
Yeah. There's a car crash or something. A girl gets run over and he falls. He's got a loaf of bread and he falls in the blood. And, make it look like, oh, I fell. And it's like, Here, master, here's some virgin blood. Oh my god,
That movie's ridiculous.
It is. I love it. Maybe we should deep dive the 2 Andy Warhol films.
I don't know. I don't
They'd
know
be-
if I could straight face talk about that movie for more than one. But yeah, back to Halloween Ends, and you mentioning it's a lot like Christine. The whole idea of evil being like an infection is really put in your face in this movie. It really comes to fruition.
Yes.
But if you're getting sideswiped by that, like if that's smacking you in the face out of nowhere, you haven't been paying attention for the last 2 Halloween films.
That's right.
Because this has been a constant build up. As much as you want to say that a lot of this stuff came out of nowhere.
The whole trilogy is about trauma.
Yeah. Trauma.
Not trauma. Not trauma.
Not trauma.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about Lloyd Kaufman later. No, we won't.
Oh, I mean, we probably should talk about Poltergeist at some point.
No, we're not going to talk about Poltergeist. No. I don't. I don't want to give any behind the scenes. So. Okay. All right. So Halloween Ends is it. We keep coming back to this. I think Dr. Hirsch from American Werewolf in London put it best about East Proctor. There's some sort of mass neurosis.
Yes.
Yes.
Mass neurosis.
And that is Haddonfield.
It literally is. And the movie even goes as far as show you what the town is turning into. Yeah. It's just, even though Michael has disappeared, which, don't get me wrong, that is slightly irritating, and to find reason for that,
Yeah, I have to disagree with you there because I have to, because
of course
I think him disappearing didn't bother me because he got the holy living hell beat out of him. I felt like his mortal body, Michael Myers' body, was dying, and Corey Cunningham came along and rejuvenated him, basically.
Yep.
I mean,
that is definitely one thing I'll defend, the fact that, Michael is weak, and that's why he's kind of hiding.
He did.
And so,
he got shot, what, 58 times? He got stabbed like 40 times.
Like,
he got a pitchfork to the back. I mean,
yeah, he's running on E, so he took a timeout.
He took a timeout.
While he was taking a timeout, they decided to fucking bulldoze his house. So the one place he's been trying to get to is now gone.
Yeah,
so
you can't get there.
I guess sewer, And it's not like the homeless guy. It's not like Michael hasn't done anything. The homeless guy there talks about people disappearing and Michael coming and grabbing somebody here and there to kind of at least sustain himself. But he doesn't. I don't think he ever really has the power to go on a spree, until he really gets this power up from Corey.
Yeah, and I think what the power is Corey has it inside of himself. He has whatever young Michael had inside himself, and because when they meet in the sewer, Michael gives him that look like, oh,
it's almost like they're kind of able to see into each other's souls, just to a certain extent. Michael is not just Michael Myers; he's also this entity, this shape of evil, and it's able to recognize that in someone else.
Right. What I really love that what David Gordon Green had done with this trilogy is he's taken the town of Haddonfield and the people that reside in it and made it into its own character.
Absolutely. We've talked previously. uh, each film is kind of dedicated to a specific character.
Right.
Halloween 2018, we mentioned, is kind of Laurie's movie. Halloween Kills, as much as it's a lot about the town, it is Michael's movie.
Oh yeah.
Halloween Ends is Haddonfield's. It's been so traumatic. I mean, you can only have so much trauma before even your good people start laying blame elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had what happened in 2018, which was an extension of what happened in 78, which was an extension. I mean, we've been dealing this since 1963.
Yeah.
When Michael first killed his older sister. And here we are.
And
so this town has been dealing with this.
Yeah, we even see Oscar's mom hanging from the front porch.
Oscar's mom killed herself.
That we talked about in the last episode was the film is very heavy. Well, this film is even more heavy.
I think some people are just have a problem connecting to a slasher film and it having weight. We're not used to slasher films meaning anything but a crazed maniac running around killing people the coolest way possible with the most amount of blood and the most titties. You know?
So,
I mean, that's over exaggerating and over generalizing, but as a whole, the slasher genre, that's what it is. You don't come to a slasher movie you expecting for it to be too super heavy.
What this film will do is it'll take a fucking blowtorch to your fucking face.
If nothing else, you can sit your ass down for 2 hours to watch an asshole. Hold on, not any asshole, a band geek asshole. Here we go again. We're flipping things on their head. This isn't your stereotypical like football prick. In this movie, it's band kids that are pricks. Because guess what? Anybody and everybody can be an asshole. Anybody and everybody can be bullied or can be a bully. And that's that's a constant theme through all three of these movies. You're not getting spoon-fed everything you've been spoon-fed before. I understand if it's not your cup of tea, okay, fine. But to actually trash any of these three films, I'm really hard pressed to accept that.
It's unique. When I walked out of the theater after watching this, I'm like, I went home, turned Peacock on, watched it again. And I'm like, I just saw what I thought I saw, you know?
Yeah. Because initially I was just kind of shell-shocked. I mean, and it happens early on in the film, and it stays that way. Because we get the opening with Corey and the kid, and then you get smacked in the face with 3 years later. So, what the fuck? When did... Mikey just viciously slaughtered Karen, and now we just skip 4 years? Fuck is going on? Like, it's jarring. And
it is.
You have to remember, just because it's jarring or it's not what you expected, doesn't make it bad. Let's we start off with
Corey babysitting
2019.
Yes.
Because we're a year after 2018. We're in Halloween night of 2019, and we're introduced to Corey, and he's come to babysit for the people he does lawn work for. That little fucker.
He is.
Yeah. So he's kind of a last minute, but they needed somebody for the Halloween party.
While he's watching the kid, they're both watching The Thing.
The Thing.
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter's. Yeah.
Yes. Merry fucking
and
Christmas.
They go back and forth. He's like, if this is too scary, we can shut it off for you.
And the kid was
like,
being a little
bitch. I want to watch this movie.
He was scared. He was scared.
Back over to the TV, and it's the scene where the head is separating from the body, and Corey's like, oh, "Okay, this is not kid appropriate." They don't really start hide and seek. Corey tries to get the kid to play that instead of watch the movie.
Right.
And the kid's like, "No, I don't want to." But then when Corey goes to the kitchen, the kid like initiates it. He's like, "Come on," you know. He doesn't really get irritated till he goes into the room and the kid locks him. Yeah, the attic room. And the damn kid locks him in there
the door.
and then won't let him out.
Yeah.
And that's when Corey eventually gets agitated.
Yeah, and starts kicking the door to open it up. The kid's parents happen to be coming back home at the same time as this is happening.
Of course.
So, and he's yelling at the kid, and he says, yes, he says, as the parents walk through the front door, he yells at the kid, "I'm gonna fucking kill you!" So then Corey actually kicks the door open as the kid was kind of going. I think he was even going to open the door for Corey.
Yeah, he was kind of like there.
He's like right there.
And bammo.
Yeah.
Right into the face. Knocks him backward. Of course.
Over the banister. And he falls 3 stories.
Yeah. A good 3 stories. And
bounces off the floor.
Fucking, oh man. It's brutal.
It's horrible. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's awful. You see a good portion of it. And man, one thing that you cannot complain about in this trilogy is how brutal and impactful the death scenes are.
Yeah.
Just plummets to a death, bounces off the ground.
Yeah.
It's every bit as bad as Umbrella Man jumping to his death in the last movie.
Yeah.
So of course, cops show up and arrest Corey. The way they filmed it, the way it's presented, it is very obvious that Corey had no intention of actually doing to that kid. It was a complete and utter accident.
Yep.
But it went ahead and ruined multiple lives.
Now we have this time jump. The town has basically said that Corey Cunningham is the boogeyman now. So
they needed somewhere to focus all that rage, anger, hurt, pain.
Yeah.
But immediately when you jump to Corey 3 years later, it's body language, everything. Kid's a great actor. It's completely obvious that he is 100% haunted and unhappy.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I mean, let's stop and think about this. Think of the psyche of the kid, Corey. He accidentally kills this kid. I mean, you have the weight. Here we are. Weight. You have the weight of that coming down on you, and the rest of the town think you're a murderer. Think you're the new boogeyman. Can you imagine that weight?
One flaw that I think the filmmakers made that they could have avoided was maybe introducing Corey in even the smallest of ways.
Right.
In one of the previous movies.
Yeah.
They do a real good job at even minor characters popping up throughout all 3 movies. You know, he works at the local car garage with his I don't know if they ever actually say they're married, but this guy is dating his mom or is actively his stepdad.
Yeah.
He gives Corey the motorcycle instead of being on his ass about being late. Laurie's busy writing her memoirs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I like about this movie is Laurie's done. She's done with Michael Myers. It's all over. She's moving on. She's finally moving on. And
she bought a house. She's living with Allyson. She's moved on. And it's really neat because kind of together we're introduced to like kind of this hybrid strong female heroine character slash final girl. We've got two of them in completely opposite ends of their lives, trying to deal with everything, and it was an interesting dichotomy to have those two essentially trauma-wise in the same spot, but are dealing with life on completely different levels. Laurie is, we're grandma age. We're baking pies and writing books. Right. And Allyson is looking for some new dick. Essentially.
And hopefully Corey doesn't get peanut butter on his penis.
In case you didn't know, there's a deleted scene. Yeah, there's a deleted sex scene where Allyson asks Corey to use some peanut butter. She's got daddy issues. I'm not sure if our subscriber numbers are going to skyrocket or plummet after this. But yeah, we follow Corey through his work. Afterwards, he goes to the gas station to get a drink. He's getting chocolate milk. Yeah. You're still feeling the effects and how the town feels about him because he's simply standing there trying to make a decision over the drink. The gas station clerk is right behind him and then it's like, are you going to purchase anything? He can't even get a drink from the gas station without being hassled or treated like shit. And this is where we're introduced to an interesting group of bullies. It's interesting that he's getting bullied by high school kids. I mean, that's how much disrespect the town has for him. Yeah. Even the high school marching band is going to fuck with you. Yeah. That's when you know you've hit rock bottom.
So the band kids want Corey to buy them beer.
Yeah.
But they don't recognize him right off the bat. And Corey's like... No,
they don't. They definitely don't.
And Corey's like, no, I'm not going to do it. They finally realize who he is.
Yeah. They're like, oh, they even go as far as to call him a pedo, like as in pedophile. Yeah. Like, it just goes to show you this almost like a game of telephone, how things just elevate. And here we are, 3 years after the incident, and we've gone from what actually happened. Yeah. And 3 years later, now he's a sadistic child murderer, pedophile. Rapist. And Corey and the band kids, they get a little heated and kind of in each other's faces. And Corey's trying so hard to control himself that he actually shatters the glass of the milk that he's got. And the kids are like, what the fuck? Which, of course, only, elevates them more into taunting him and whatnot. And they end up shoving him. And he gets knocked over and crushes his hand on the broken glass on the ground. Yep. And then Laurie Strode hollers out to him.
What's happening? Yeah.
And she defends Corey. Yeah. And they still continue to not just taunt Corey. They recognize who Laurie is. And then they run their mouths to her.
Yeah. He pulls out this pocket knife and she's like, you want to do it or do you want me to do it? And Corey's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then the next thing you know, she's poking a hole
to the tires and
asshole band kid tire. This kicks things into motion now.
It does. It does. And you have to ask yourself.
If Laurie hadn't done that.
Yeah. It's a deep rabbit hole to travel.
It is.
But there is an argument there. Had Laurie not intervened on multiple fronts, because she's responsible for Corey and Allyson meeting here shortly. Yeah. So she gives him a ride to the doctor's office
Yeah.
Allyson,
The biggest
works
asshole
there.
doctor I've ever seen in a movie.
God.
Oh my God.
And this is one thing I can't ignore because it gets picked up on a lot. Allyson sees Corey. I have rarely seen somebody get eye fucked that hard upon first meeting. Like, it just, her face when she first sees Corey, it's like, good Lord. Like, I'm surprised his clothes didn't just magically
fall off,
fucking fly off.
Well,
But hey,
maybe that's in the director's cut.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Along with the peanut butter.
Yeah.
They numb his hand so they can do the sutures. And he kind of flinches.
Yeah.
And knocks stuff over. And Allyson knocks stuff over. The doctor screams at her because he's an asshole. They have a silly conversation. And then they get to talking about her car. And of course, he's like, I'll fix your car.
Yeah.
Allyson gets bold here. Once they get his hand fixed up and walks him outside, she asks to go on a date with him. He says no, even though he wants to. He's being protective because he just thinks everything he touches turns to shit. He's afraid for anybody to be around him or like him because he knows his life just really sucks. But he and Allyson start to garnish a relationship. They go to this Halloween party together. Lindsay is the bartender. They're out there having fun, dancing, drinking, but Corey goes up to get another drink.
Right.
The mom of the child that was accidentally killed is there. And of course just rips into him.
Yeah. And here again, we get another heavy scene. So, it's another browbeating of Corey.
Yep.
And it furthers this whole you're the boogeyman
and it
now,
brings it brings validation to Corey not wanting to be out in public, not wanting to be around people, not having relationships, because this is what happens. So a major problem that people have with this movie is we're focusing on Corey and Allyson for a good portion of it and not getting any Michael Myers. But there was a line that Corey says to Allyson when they're at the doctor's office. And I don't know, maybe it's just me personally that it like rang really true. It just seemed so insanely raw and real to say to somebody. But he specifically says to her, it's going to make you sad, even if you don't think it does. And that line is super, super heavy. There's so much in that one little line. It's going to make you sad, even if you think it doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's just so much unwrapped about trauma and dealing with things. That line right there really stood out to me. They have a little lover spat at the Halloween party because Corey takes off because of the pissed off mom.
Yeah.
Corey ends up taking off. So he's riding off, and it just so happens that the band geeks, the band pricks, they're out and about. And they come upon Corey. And of course, they initiate another interaction, and it starts to get physical. They start pushing him around. They crush his glasses.
Yep. And they're standing on top of a bridge.
Yeah, standing on a bridge.
Yeah.
So Corey says something to the main band geek prick, something to him about him and his father and the way his father treated him at the garage, making fun of him and calling him, essentially stupid for not being able to take care of a flat tire and put on a spare. And that pisses the kid off. So he shoves Corey over the bridge.
Yeah.
So
they freak out.
Yeah. And they take off. And this so happens to be the bridge where there's a crazy old homeless dude that lives under it, but there's also a little sewer entrance.
Yeah.
And it's not Pennywise in that sewer.
Oh, no.
It's Mikey. He essentially, kind of dragged Corey in there and is choking him.
Yeah.
And
as he's choking him,
they
have this
it's like
moment.
And it's like Michael recognizes the darkness within. And again, we're back to how evil infects and how, yes, Michael is the embodiment of evil, is the current shape of evil. Evil is an ever-flowing, always infecting kind of thing.
Yep.
And so, if you were making a movie about some form of contagion, this is where Corey gets infected.
Yeah.
And Michael lets him go.
Yeah.
And he crawls out of the tunnel and has a little interaction with the homeless guy. The homeless man is kind of crazy. And
he's very crazy.
Aggressive and is harassed with him. Yeah,
he's like, I'm Michael fucking Myers.
Yeah, he even says he's Michael Myers.
He's trying to get Corey to go back in and get the mask.
Yeah, go get the mask. I think he even threatens killing him or something. Anyway, they get in a tussle. And Corey ends up accidentally, at this point, stabbing the homeless guy. It plays in to where Corey is headed, and evil is now kind of got its hold on Corey and is slowly going to take him over.
As Michael as the evil is fading out of his failing body, the evil's rising in Corey. And I think it's an interesting idea.
Evil is inherently almost an entity itself. Yeah. And it can infect, can take over a town, people. Like the mask. Laurie puts it as evil takes many shapes. And that's rather literal in the sense. Yeah. So after this, I think the next major thing that really happens is Corey and Allyson are having dinner together at a diner. This is another thing that viewers don't like about Halloween Ends. In Halloween Kills, it was Evil Dies Tonight, and in Halloween Ends, it's Burn It Down. Allyson and Corey keep talking about burning Haddonfield down. We're dealing with two people who are absolutely fucking over this goddamn town. Has done nothing but brought them heartache, pain, tragedy. We're also introduced to Officer Doug Mulaney. At some point, Allyson dated this douchebag. He intervenes in their conversation and dinner. And Corey calls him out on it. They get a little confrontational, and Corey doesn't back down.
Yeah, he stands up for it. Yep.
Corey and Allyson leave the diner and takes Allyson home. And she even offers for him to come inside, which is where the extended cut of the
peanut butter. Oh my God!
But
here we go.
Corey says, another night. I think there's still a certain part of Corey that's actually trying to be a good person and not like take advantage of sexy times right away.
Right.
But
right.
most importantly,
he's trying
I think
to be
what
a
he
gentleman.
really wanted was to get back to Michael.
Yeah,
that's exactly where he goes. Officer Mulaney is following Corey and follows Corey down to the sewer.
Yeah.
And Officer Mulaney finds a homeless guy down there because Corey just decided to stash him in the tent. Corey ends up luring Officer Mulaney into the tunnel. Well, Corey plays a little bit of cat and mouse with Officer Mulaney down there. But ultimately, Michael comes out and tries to attack the officer. He's clearly weak. Isn't quite strong enough. So Corey decides to intervene and even literally says to Michael, "Show me how to do it." And Michael grabs his knife, and as Corey is holding Officer Mulaney, Michael starts stabbing Officer Mulaney. And here's something that's I really like this. I think it's really cool. It really plays in to all the quote unquote supernatural part of Michael Myers and evil and everything. You actively, for the first time, see Michael rejuvenate a little bit. He's physically shaking, like he's powering up. Yeah, and at this point, for the first time, that is the first time that I'm like, okay, like this is we're really making this a part. We're making this a reality of Michael Myers. And I fucking love it so much. I love that we gave a quasi explanation as to who and what Michael Myers is. We're never fully stating he's just a dude. But we're also never fully stating that he's just like a mystical entity that keeps returning from the dead, kind of like they do with Jason.
And the other thing in the scene that I don't know if anybody picks up on also is Corey is in a state of euphoria.
This is obviously the tipping point for Corey. He's fully on board now to start changing into his own shape of evil. So the next information we're kind of given in the movie is Allyson had mentioned the promotion she was going to get at work. She didn't get it. Number one, Dr. Asshole. Number two, Dr. Asshole is fucking Nurse Annoying. The other nurse that works there with Allyson is just abrupt, dumb, annoying. Oh God. If anything, these fuckers know how to write a character because there is no single character that you're just like, I don't feel anything about that. Like if there's a character on screen, you're going to have an opinion on them. And that's
for sure.
Insane.
For sure.
When you stop to think about how important that is in script writing.
I find that when I'm writing a script, and I have an ensemble cast or whatever. A lot of times, when we go into production, if I'm directing, I tell my actors all the time, because I'll have some ask me, because I will usually ask a director, do you want word for word verbatim, or do you want me to take those words and the character comes out. And I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say then, but it'll be a version of those words. And that's pretty much how I direct my actors. It's like, I don't want word for word verbatim. You get in the character and you do what you do. That's your job, My job is to make you look good. Your job is to make me look good. That's, at the end of the day, that's all.
That's a really cool and interesting. I know that there are a good handful of filmmakers that do that way. There's also some filmmakers where they're so, anal about stuff you have to say verbatim. Yeah. The number one make or break thing to make a horror film, good or not, or destined to be a classic or a cult classic, literally every single time comes down to character.
Mm-hmm.
No matter the movie,
right?
Every single time, that is
you're giving a shit either way. If it's like, oh man, that's or like, yeah, fucking die.
The annoying nurse.
We'll find out.
Carpenter likes form. We actually go home with the doctor and the extremely way too young for him nurse.
Yeah.
So they go in. The doctor sends her into the bedroom and shower. Says, freshen up you want to. Left her a gift on the bed, the card. Congratulations on the promotion.
Yeah.
So while she's there reading her little card and going to get ready for her shower, she hears commotion.
Yes.
Out in the other room. She's searching around and finally notices the doctor is outside. But he is getting brutally stabbed in the neck with a wine opener, with a cork opener, remover.
Corkscrew.
Thank you, Jesus. Fuck.
Okay.
So yeah, Corey is just corkscrewing the shit out of this doctor's neck,
and it's fucking brutal. It's visceral. It
is.
He's got the sound.
He's got like a fucking covering of some sort.
Joking.
He's got like a stethoscope.
Yeah. It's like clear plastic, right?
I'm not sure what a bat, like a plastic bag or something, but he's got that over him, and he's got him held, and he's just jabbing that corkscrew into him. And of course, the girl's like, and Corey's like,
it's like, huh? Yeah. But then he looks at her, and the fucking mask he has on is fucking creepy.
So it's the scarecrow mask that he was wearing at the Halloween party with Allyson. She runs back inside, locks the door, and of course Corey's fucking pissed. He's just pounding on the door, trying to get in, can't get it in. But this is where things.
This is very fucking cool.
Fucking awesome. So as Corey's trying to get in, he stops, and you realize the reason he stops is because Michael comes out and attacks the nurse.
Yeah.
And he grabs her and slams her against a wall.
He goes all the way across the room with her.
All the way across. He just grabs her and walks her clear across, holding her by the neck, slams her against the wall, takes a knife and just stabs it in her. And it is an absolute direct homage to the original 78. Pins her to the wall, gives the head tilt. Because that is like from the original 78. That's the most iconic, not just in Halloween franchise, in horror history. Yeah. One of the most iconic things of all time.
And then what's he do? He just stands there and looks at his handiwork,
Yeah.
And then Corey's like, I just saw it happen,
Mm-hmm.
So he's like in awe.
Yeah. It's again euphoric for both of them. Corey's just watching the master,
Yeah.
And Mikey's in there and he's like, still got it. Yeah.
I'm a
And
little rusty, but yeah.
Yeah, a little rusty, still gets the job done.
Yeah.
Interesting thing here, because they chose not to go with it all the way. But while they're at the doctor's house, Corey unwraps his hand, and he's looking at it, and he's moving it back and forth, and it's like it's healed faster than it should have.
Yeah.
Now, shortly, a couple scenes later, he still has the wound, but it's obvious that it's started to heal, kind of giving some weight to the fact that once you've been infected with this evil, much like Michael, Corey is getting some form
Healing powers
of power and healing power and a power from killing. And we've seen this coming with Corey. We've skinned over portions of the movie, but there is a couple important things to point out. There's one scene when Corey goes to visit Allyson at the house, and Laurie hears him come up.
Yeah.
But when she goes to look out the window, Corey is half hiding behind a bush, just like Michael did in the original movie, and so on and so forth throughout the series. And when she goes out there, it's strange. It's almost like Corey has this innate ability to kind of surprise Laurie. Like he kind of disappears and just pops up right behind her.
Right. Scaring her.
And it's not malicious per se by any means. But and another thing that's important is Laurie, she goes to talk to Corey's mother because that kind of set Laurie off on a path.
Well, she saw his eyes.
Yeah.
The devil's eyes.
And specifically, she saw it wasn't just Corey's eyes. It was Michael's eyes and Corey's eyes. His eyes is what she says to Lindsay at the bar, actually, which is another thing I wanted to point out, because Lindsay wants Laurie to talk to the father of the boy that Corey accidentally killed, who was at the bar. And I think it's really important.
I believe so too. Yeah.
The father explains explains how he saw Corey.
Yeah, and he wanted to stop and talk to him and say, "Hey, I don't blame you for my son's death. I know it was an accident and blah blah blah." But he said when he pulled over to talk to him, Corey looked at him through the window in the car, and the guy didn't see anything in his face, in his eyes.
Like that wasn't Corey.
He said that wasn't the kid that
used to mow my lawn.
Different.
Yeah. Because he even talks about how he knew Corey was a good kid and didn't even really initially blame him. And another important thing he mentions is how he feels like the town was taking his trauma and hurt away from him.
Yes.
Like, why aren't we hurting for me? Why aren't we hurting? Because I lost my son. I'm the one that lost his son. You guys, you just lost a community member. I lost a fucking son, again, giving a lot of weight, making Haddonfield itself a main character of this movie. So Laurie's catching on to things at this point, and she's pretty much she thinks that Corey's been infected. So Corey goes, and he has a tendency to start crashing on the floor of the home where he accidentally killed the kid. And Laurie finds him there one morning and kind of confronts him.
There when Yeah,
about everything.
She's there when he wakes up.
Yeah, there when he wakes up.
Kind of shocked me.
Yeah. Well, she
Yeah.
has a few Michael tricks of her own, it seems.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
She learned from the master.
Yeah. But they have a little back and forth, and it's important, but essentially Laurie is explaining to Corey they're two different kinds of evil, and basically telling Corey that you've been infected with evil, and it's up to you how you take care of it. But Allyson is not going to be a part of it, essentially.
Right. Which pisses him off.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he basically at that point is left to, all right, nobody's on my side. And he's also accepted the fact that, he's a fucking killer. So he tells Allyson to meet him because Laurie wants to kill him, and they need to meet up after work so they can peace out of town.
Yep.
And just leave everything all behind and burn it down. In the meantime, he decides to go back to the sewer where Michael is, and he has a little tussle with Michael.
He wants Michael's mask.
He wants Michael's mask. Yeah.
And Michael's like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah. Michael's like, "Hold on, Padawan.
Ain't getting this shit."
Like,
yes.
you got some fucking work to do. You're not a Jedi Knight yet.
That's right. That's right.
But fucking Anakin here steals his mask, and goes all dark side.
Yes.
But he managed to get the mask away for Michael because he's barely sustaining. I mean, he's powered up enough that he's starting to travel outside of the sewer. You see him creeping on Laurie at one point, and then he killed the girl at the doctor's house.
Yeah.
But he's still weak. And now we've got Corey. It's not just any normal dude. He's been infected and is now
he's getting stronger,
imbued with, arguably these powers, and is able to get the mask away for Michael. And decides it's time to go on his little killing spree.
Yeah.
So he finds the band kids.
Yes. Oh my
finds
God,
band kids. Carves psycho, I think, the word psycho, under the top of their car.
Yeah.
And of course sticks around to make sure they know it was him.
Yeah.
And he leads them to the car garage that he works at, which also has an industrial sized grinder that we have ominously seen in the movie multiple times.
That mind.
What Corey does is he's staging a setup here to kill all of them because he's going to take out the people that made him feel like shit before he pieces it out of town with Allyson.
Yeah. And here's his plan. He's going to do it. He's going to be dressed like Michael Myers. So if anybody sees him, Michael's going to get the blame for it.
Exactly. It's perfect.
So, yeah.
And so, he kills one of the kids as they're waiting for him in the car while they're at the garage office. Then he gets in this tow truck and runs one of the girls down, and she ends up trying to climb over the gate.
That
slams in the gate and runs the gate over. So she's pinned underneath the truck, runs the car shop. He's still there. So Corey goes after the other girl while band prick number one trying to get help from Corey's stepdad that owns a car shop. So he's got a couple guns there at the shop.
Yep.
Gives Dick one of them, and they go out there, and he's obviously surprised when he finds Corey there, and so he goes out to try to talk to Corey, and the other kid behind him has got a rifle, not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
And he turns around to try to tell the kid not to shoot, stop. But Bandig shoots him right in the fucking head.
Yeah, because
human being, and that sucks.
And
but
he didn't deserve to die.
No,
especially by some band geek.
Yeah, especially by Bandig. But guess what?
Bandig.
It's Haddonfield. Nobody is fucking safe.
That's right.
So then Corey proceeds to take Bandig number one. Oh man, this is intense. He takes a blowtorch.
It's an acetylene fucking torch, and right to the fucking face. Fuck.
It is extreme.
Turns him into fucking Freddy fucking Krueger.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's enough left to be Freddy Krueger. Like, oh man,
and just the fucking searing flesh that you hear. I mean, it's so fucking gross.
Oh, that's gruesome. It's gruesome.
It's gruesome.
And the chick pinned underneath the truck has to fucking watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Death is bad.
Yeah. What's he do to her? I can't remember. I'm always shocked by the fucking blowtorch to the face.
Oh, he stomps on her head.
Oh yeah.
He does the Mikey stomp pump. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, Corey decides to give the girl pinned under the truck that's not dead yet, give her the old Mikey stomp to the head and just obliterates her head with his foot.
Yep. He gives her the old sartain.
Yeah, the old sartain. Yeah.
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 And then he runs over.
Oh God, yes. Give her the old Hawkins.
Yeah. The old Hawkins. Our next stop is fun because it's the radio station.
Yes.
And this DJ is an annoying
prick.
And the whole reason Corey even makes the stop here is because at some point Corey and Allyson, they go and they climb on top of the radio station. They're just hanging out. Just hanging out.
What the fuck you guys doing up there?
He just wanted to be a fucking asshole. Willie the kid.
But his secretary or whatever, we hear her fucking dying, being stabbed to death in the background.
He's got the headphones on.
And it's like, God almighty.
Yeah. The hot secretary.
Yeah.
And then
leave her shit alone, man.
Yeah. Yeah. What did she do?
Yeah, she didn't do anything quite now. Guilty by association.
She wasn't babysitting. She can't live.
That's right.
I suppose Corey that's Mikey rules, not Corey rules. Anyway.
That's right. Okay.
Willie's death is awesome. I love his death. So
Jesus, yes.
Fuck, Corey goes in there, and of course he's decked out as Michael. So this is even better for Willie because he keeps talking about resurrecting Michael, and when he's gonna come back and runs his mouth about Laurie, saying how she fucked with a mentally unstable man and goaded him into going crazy because we'll get to that here in just a minute. But
a lot of people think
so. Corey goes in there and he takes Willie the kid and just bashes his face again and again and again and again in the computer and the whole DJ setup he's got there until like his whole fucking face is just mangled and teeth are hanging out, and
Yes,
the only
yes.
thing that's sticking
Like,
out is his
oh,
fucking his tongue.
Yeah. Dr. Tongue. Dr.
So,
Tongue.
yeah.
Yes.
So Corey decides to go the extra mile. He grabs a pair of scissors and fucking slices his tongue half off. Corey's like, Willie's like, slams him back down.
Geez.
And then that piece of his tongue gets flopped on top the record that's playing. And so it's skipping every time it goes past.
Yes.
And at one point, it even catches a little bit and flips over.
Yes.
And in the meantime, Allyson is listening to this because she's just pulling in to the diner where Corey was supposed to meet her.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh man.
This movie's so fucking insane.
Oh, it's fucking nuts. Love it. Corey's got one more stop.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Laurie. Allyson is Corey's home for Michael.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Michael wanted to go home. Corey wants Allyson. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to make sure that happens, which means Laurie's got to die. So he goes over there.
She calls the police.
Yep.
And basically says she's going to commit suicide.
Yeah. She feigns a suicide call.
Yeah. And so Corey comes in, and we knew this was going to happen from the trailer.
Again.
And this is something that if they hadn't given this away when Corey opens the door, he opens with his left hand and he has all of his digits.
So yeah, he walks in. Laurie's ready. And she go ahead and sinks a couple bullets into Corey.
Yeah.
Which sends him toppling over the railing. And much like the same way that Laurie fell off of the railing in the original 78. And of course, Corey's hurt. Not dead, but hurt. He and Laurie have a little conversation back and forth.
Yep.
About basically Allyson. And at this point, she thinks she's got the upper hand here. So she's getting a little arrogant with him, and rightfully so. Because they hear Allyson pull up. And basically, Corey's, well, if I can't have her, nobody can. And he decides to plunge the knife into his own throat. Just.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Letting us know that he's really fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's really fucking crazy. Laurie goes over and she's like, "You fucking idiot." Pulls the knife out of his neck. But of course, this is when Allyson walks in. So what it looks like is that...
this is not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Catches what she thinks is Laurie red-handed, literally.
Yes.
And of course, Allyson loses her fucking shit.
Yeah.
Takes off after screaming at her. And then Laurie has a breakdown, and it's a tough one. Like this is again, there's so much weight to it. She loses her fucking mind. All over again. Everything that she had managed to move past and quasi-fixed comes shattering down, completely destroyed. And it literally takes her to the floor. Michael is still lurking about because now he's got a little bit more juice they did have.
Yep.
And also, Corey just stole this fucking mask. Number one, no.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Mikey.
Number one, no.
He is fucking
Michael's
pissed.
gonna go find that fucking mask.
Yeah, you're goddamn right he is. And he does.
He does.
Conveniently at the new Strode house.
Yes.
So,
I mean, wow. What are the odds?
Wasn't even looking for Laurie, but here she is again.
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
So.
And she's dressed like she was in 78.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, he goes in, grabs his mask. Corey is still alive, barely.
Yeah.
So when Michael goes to grab for the knife and the mask, he tries to stop him.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Michael just goes to stands over him, grabs his head, and just snaps his fucking neck. Done. We're done. Bye, Corey.
Yep. Corey's done. See you later.
And then we have, as you said, a little bit of 78 action here.
Yeah.
Laurie notices that there's something wrong. And shit, it's Michael. So we get a little bit of cat mouse. We're now arriving at the one thing the whole fucking world, the real world, us, have been waiting for. The finale, the showdown.
Yeah.
Laurie versus Michael for the very last time.
This is it.
This is it. And yes, it's at the end of the film. And it's not an incredibly long sequence.
Yeah.
But it is exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of it makes sense within the world they're in.
Yes. And I am the only, this is really the only problem I have with them. I wish this fight between the two of them went a little longer, even a couple minutes longer.
I agree.
But
100%.
But what we did get is pretty fucking intense, though.
It is intense. And it is, my favorite part about it is not a stretch of the imagination as to how this ends up going down. We know Michael is weak.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wouldn't say Laurie gets the upper hand per se. It's literally her trying to outthink Michael, gain opportunity. But she ends up pinning him down and knifing both of his hands to the little table. Island in the kitchen.
Yeah, island. Yeah.
And then she managed to topple the fridge over and pin his lower half down too. So Michael is stuck. All of his arms and legs are immovable. Which
and this
at this
whole
point,
time, I'm like, oh fuck, is this really gonna happen?
Yeah, are we actually gonna kill
is
Michael?
Is Malik Assad really gonna let this happen?
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh shit.
Is Halloween actually going to end? Whoa.
So I'm like on the edge of my seat, like, I mean, fuck, and we're talking about all of the heavy that we've had up until this point is nothing compared to what is about to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, and you want to talk heavy. It's some heavy fucking shit.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
When she finally does have Michael pinned down there, she's got him pinned by the legs. She's got knives that she not just stabbed, but hammered in. She hammers him in with a pan. Like, this is not, they didn't do some bullshit thing where she just was able to stick it to herself, And then she takes off the mask.
Yeah.
Which is
something you never do. Something you never do. You don't take Michael's mask off.
You don't take off Michael's mask. Laurie did, and she
not
his side goes down, a big, and actually kind of slices him open instead of just the stab. Well, she also stabs him in the chest with a knife. Even after all that, Michael manages to get his good hand free.
Yeah, he just pulls it through the knife.
Fucking rips it through the knife, and he rips it through, so it just rips his whole hand open and grabs Laurie with that hand. So even after all this, like, we're still getting, Mikey's not going down that fucking easy.
Yeah, he's fighting to stay alive. Yep.
At this point, as he's choking Laurie, and you're like, oh shit. At this point, for your first viewing, you have no fucking clue what's going to happen. You honestly don't know. Is Laurie going to die? Is Michael going to die? Are they both going to die? What the fuck is going on here? Yeah. Where the fuck is Hawkins? Like,
and you're just hoping something happens.
Anything happens.
Yeah.
Allyson shows up.
Yeah. She takes she heard
Michael's arm. And because the reason Allyson turned around is because Hawkins calls her because he wants to know where Laurie's at, because she called in a fucking suicide. And she's like, oh shit. So she turns around. So it's not like she appears out of nowhere at the last minute to save the day. But she grabs Michael's arm and she snaps that motherfucker in half. Not only that, right after that, Laurie takes the butcher knife and slices open his wrists. And not the attention way, the right way. And so Michael's, he's bleeding out. He's bleeding everywhere. Like, we've gotten Michael as close to dead as we've ever gotten. He's been through
so Laurie's like, where else can we cut him?
Yeah. And there's more. She go ahead and slices his neck.
Oh, yeah.
She says something to him along the lines of, all the years I thought you were the boogeyman, and you're just a man who's about to stop breathing. Slices his neck.
Yep. But we're not done with him.
No, we're not done with him. And rightfully fucking so. Because you can't leave it there. We know better than that. We've got to put a fucking end to this. And man,
an exclamation point.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we don't burn his body or bury it or what have you.
We have a parade.
We have a goddamn vigilante rural justice. Even the sheriff himself, one of the cops says, "Now, how do we do this?" And the sheriff shows up, does the only decent thing he's done so far, and says, it is tonight.
Yes.
And they parade Michael tied to a cop car through town, back down to the car shop, where there is a nice industrial grinder.
Yes.
And
I'm like,
yeah.
So, I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared for that effect.
Yeah, I wasn't either. They tossed his ass in there.
Christopher Nelson.
Oh man, great, great job.
Such a
you see it. Yep, you see it. You don't just see him tossing. You see him going. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it is a bloody fucking mess.
Oh man,
it is fucking gross.
Yeah. Michael's gone.
He's gone. There's no coming back from that.
Michael's gone. I mean, Laurie gives us a little bit of a narration, finishing up her memoir. And
Allyson's off to finish college.
Allison's off to college, new start.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things happens, and even though it's not Michael related, Will, Officer Hawkins, shows up and leaves a basket for Laurie, and it's a basket of vegetables, which, like I mentioned earlier, we were gonna come back to this. Earlier in the film, we have a really good scene, in my opinion. People
in a
give it shit,
supermarket.
but
Yeah.
Laurie's at the supermarket and she runs into Will, and they have the fucking cutest, little,
I mean, they're
back and
they're
forth,
flirting back and forth, and
flirting back and forth. They're fumbling over themselves because people don't understand. First of all, I don't know if you forgot how you were with, being in love or having a thing for somebody. Sometimes you fumble and you stumble. Also, imagine that you haven't done that in 40 some years.
Yeah.
It's been so long. These people, I mean, we're talking about, these are senior citizens at this point.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And at the supermarket, they're talking, and Will mentions that he's doing this, that, and the other thing. He picked up a guitar from a pawn shop, and he's learning Japanese. And he makes the mention that he wants to go see the cherry blossoms. And so him and Laurie have a little back and forth and have that conversation, but it kind of comes back here at the end. Yeah. And as Will's going to take off, Laurie says, what were you telling me about those cherry blossoms? And they both sit down on her front porch, and like, it is an actual happy ending for Laurie and Hawkins. It's not a happy ending for everybody. You weren't spoon-fed all the shit you wanted.
Right.
You were taken for a fucking ride. A ride you didn't ask for. A ride you didn't know it was going to happen. A ride that, yes, it has some problems, but
at the end of the day, I
this is something that you actually mentioned to me with script writing. Sometimes the story takes you places. You've got to let the story drive you. So in this case, I think we're dealing with, the writers, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. They're also going where the story is also wanting to take them, because the story at some point takes the wheel and kind of navigates things a little bit too.
Yeah.
And so,
every film that I've been on the production crew of, that's usually producing, directing, writing, or something more than doing makeup effects or acting in. I always notice that when you're shooting the film, something happens. The film starts dictating to you and starts breathing on its own. And I love it when that happens, because you're no longer, you're in control of it, but you're not, it's the film is dictating to you where it wants to go. And the script just becomes, it just becomes a blueprint to, okay, we're gonna get here, but we might not get here in the fashion that it, that is written down in the script. Something may happen. And I love that. It becomes organic, and it becomes a living, breathing thing of its own, just like Haddonfield became. So
I urge you to go back and revisit this film.
Yeah.
Hopefully, what we've talked about has given you a couple different ways to think differently about the film or the franchise as a whole, or what the new trilogy here was actually trying to do originally, instead of just give us 3 more movies of a masked man walking around stabbing people.
Yeah. And I'm really curious, Craig, after you revisiting the film and after reviewing the film with me, how many toe tags would you give it?
Toe tags. So I gave 2018 8, and I gave Kills 9 because I absolutely love Kills and really like 2018. Although I cannot put ends high as either one of those two, I still think it's a good film. And at the end of the day, I've still been satisfied every single time I've watched it. I mean, I've watched it multiple times. That in itself says something about it. It's not my favorite Halloween film. Never will be. It has its flaws. There are other things I wouldn't have done. I will give it a 6. 6 toe tags.
6.
And here's why. 7 would have put it like just right under 2018, and I don't quite enjoy it that much. But I couldn't put it any lower than a 5, because 5's that median to where you're just like,
you could take it or leave it.
Yeah, it's a movie. 6 is where we start getting into that atmosphere, for me anyway. If you're like, you know what, that's a good movie.
Yeah, it's better than just okay.
Yeah, it's better than your average. And I know you're definitely gonna rate it higher than me, which no problem. That's just where after thinking about where I had to place it. And so 6 toe tags for me.
Okay. Yeah, with me, yes, I am definitely rating it higher. Horror is subjective, you know.
Absolutely.
What I like, you might not like. What you like, I might not like. And in some movies, we're gonna like equally. And I actually give this I give this an 8.5.
Ooh.
You know, because I gave 2018 an 8. I gave Kills an 8, and actually I gave that was a higher on an 8 on Kills is higher than what I originally thought I would rate it as, but I hadn't watched it in a while. I revisited it for the podcast, and I'm like, you know what, this is better than I thought. You know, better than I remembered. So, yeah, but this 8.5. I mean, they're all 3 of them kind of there in the same, and I just like this one a little bit more because it was different. I loved what they, you know, what David Gordon Green did with this, and I think it's a more solid film than the other 2. So, but yeah, that's my rating, 8.5.
I'm actually glad we actually had some variance here. Even we're both placing it on the positive side of the scale. You know, this is kind of the first, even we haven't done many so far. This is the first one where there's a couple points difference. But the main key is like when we started this and we went at it and we're deciding and trying to talk about what are we going to do first? What thing better to do than the new Halloween trilogy? Our whole Corner on the Macabre, I mean, that's a lot of that's spawned directly off of Halloween. I'm a huge Michael Myers fan. I love Halloween. Arguably my favorite horror movie of all time. For us to come at it and actually be a couple of guys that enjoyed the new trilogy as a whole and didn't see it so negatively, and be able to come at it with a different perspective, I think was pretty unique. And I think a lot of our points are valid points. You can't just come in and be like, well, you just said that because you like it. No.
Right.
We got some reasoning. And most importantly, like you said, horror, it's subjective. Everything you watch,
Yeah.
horror-wise, you can take so many different ways. And that's why a lot of endings in horror are so ambiguous, because it is intentionally left that way. It's what it meant to you.
Yeah.
It's what it meant to the viewer.
Well, I guess that wraps up the trilogy.
That does. Holy shit.
Wow.
We got through our first trilogy here. Our first 3 deep dives.
Yep. We got the 3
on Cornel Macabre. And we're dishing them out to you right around Halloween time. Because what better time? What better time?
Yeah.
We're excited for the future.
Yes.
Lots more to come.
We are.
But that's going to wrap it up for our Halloween trilogy. Thank everybody for joining us. Listen to us.
Share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
And
we'll be back. Subscribe. Let us know what you think. We want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, guys.
All righty. Thanks, everybody. Right. We'll see you next time.
Love you all.